Welcome back to episode 13 of Lord of Mysteries, the finale, sadly. Now, last time we had the beginning of a big fight. We are going to enjoy this fight, this episode. I am assuming Isaac is going to appear because the idea is that his son's head or skull was used in the ritual. So Klein told Isaac about that he assumes that the skull of his son is here, which, if we can trust the translation and the ritual, the skull is a descendant of death, which means Isaac should be death, I hope. So I'm assuming he's going to come in and he's going to wreak havoc. Now, there was not really much else on my side. Alphabet didn't really get any addition. Now, one part I have to say before. Now, the part of the series got spoiled earlier. I did not want to watch any of that because, just watch it like everyone else. There's no reason to get spoiled. And I believe it was the English dub only. I don't know. Now, I was scrolling on YouTube Shorts and I came across a Lord of Mysteries clip. I did not search for any Lord of Mysteries. It just got served to me. And the first sentence was most likely a spoiler. So I got spoiled a bit, which is... it's a little infuriating, but sure. So I just want to clarify that. Not that I would have any big reactions, because I'm not that big on reactions. So with that out of the way, let's see how this fight unfolds. Again, assuming Isaac is going to appear, Isaac is going to wreak havoc. We may even see him in his full form. There is a potential because he always falls into the sleep for a couple centuries. Maybe he's unable to tap into his full power because of that. Maybe we also saw in his stories that there was some kind of curse. Maybe he got cursed and he's unable to really get his power back. We will see. Assumption is still that he's death, which I assume is the highest rank that the pathway can go, but we will see. And he was corpse collector, if I remember correctly, which means Diley he's on the same path. It would mean that he's most likely not going to join our round table because he's too strong. But yeah, let's see. I'm going to miss this show. Definitely. Did not do this, did not do my homework. I'm too lazy. Especially because these are different alphabet symbols. Even if I am pretty sure I could put some of the pathways in here, or some of the round table members. Last time we see this intro. 13. Light. Just the looking episode is always this. Oh, the clown. Oh yeah. There's the subtitle? Okay. This is where we told the be careful. Be careful. You are not allowing us to read this, are you? Yeah, this is they or Dunn was morsing to the church, and they immediately say, be careful. I mean, it's a little late. So Again, things are ashes. Again, we also saw the feather being used last episode, the artifact, telling about the ashes of the saint. So it seems like it can control in some way. I don't believe it can control people necessarily. It just, changes the story. It probably just leads people down a specific path, or the story down a specific path. Why? We will have to see. We will see if the ashes are in our possession after this fight. Okay. Do we get to see the shadow fight? The ghost is changing. My assumption also is, if this being is going to be born, that everyone is going to react the same as Klein with his spirit vision. They cannot look at it, or they die or go mad. The big question is the power that is seared inside the child, is it the full power? Is it just a part of the power? I mean, essentially, I'm assuming, unless we can pull out the being. I mean, you know what she's after. She's after the ashes. For such a huge monster, she's pretty agile. Q105. Interesting that this one didn't have a 0 before. After the 2. Can see an ability, sure, from a target within range. Against high sequence Beyonder, chance of success is lower. Which is interesting because she's essentially not a Beyonder. I'm assuming the child is, or counts. And we also don't really know if you can use the ability then, or you just seal the ability. Because sealing would mean that you can use the ability yourself. What is this? Blood vessel sieve. What is that supposed to be? Is this supposed to be a big blood vessel? Now, we did find out that a lot of these artifacts at least are part of a Beyonder. So, who has such a big blood vessel? Probably not all. There may be. We also know that animals can become Beyonder, and they have two ways. They just become a Beyonder, or they become a monster. Maybe this is how these artifacts are being made, because if this is a blood vessel, which I'm assuming, it's too big for a human. So it could be a monster that they defeated, and this is the ability that this monster had in this part, and they now have Okay. Whoa. Again. This is also the problem I had on the ship. Because he's using this ability, this looks like blood. However, later on we saw that it is supposed to be like flower petals. It feels like the animation quality is always pristine in this anime. I feel like this could have been made a little bit more obvious that this is supposed to be flower petals, unless it is supposed to be blood and the shadow is using this ability. Which could be. I don't know. Could also be just, hey, we want to save a little bit animation. Which is totally fine as well. So, why are we going to the memorial hall? What about the hall is so important? Oh, nope. This was, I don't know why I want to call Alfonso Leonard. He's trying to steal an ability. Now he's doing the monster is doing wish and is now behind Duns because it wants the ashes. Because the ashes hurt the monster, whatever. However, it seems like the monster knows what the artifact can do, or is just cautious of the artifact that Leonard wants to use. I don't know why I have Alfonso in my head now. I don't know. Is this where Klein comes in? Oh, smart. He went off and started doing a ritual. I'm assuming to the other Night Goddess. What are you doing? Power of Crimson. Power of Crimson. The other Night Goddess is not what I would assume Crimson. This screams like the Demoness. Goddess, okay. Okay, so I'm assuming Goddess of Other Night. Okay. So we do a debuff. Oh, green. One part. I know I'm pausing a lot. I don't care. Does Klein know what he can wish for and what he cannot? Why couldn't he just, you know, do a ritual to defeat the vessel? Or is his idea, I want to slow it down so we can use the ashes or whatever, and potentially remove the being inside the body, maybe rescue the child, but definitely the woman. Is that the plan? Plunder. So now I'm interested. What are we plundering? I assumed he would try to steal an ability. That was my assumption. Games, yada yada yada. Is he trying to remove the deity out of the body? Is that what he's trying to plunder? Okay. So his ritual backfired, which means that potentially he could not have wished for something more important in quotation, like defeat the monster. Oh, this is the memory hall. Memorial hall. Oh. So this is like the center of the church. Where the church is the strongest. Why are your eyes bleeding?
我先去锁住他，10秒后你们再出来。队长，没收10秒，这是命令。不要担心，我们是在守护廷根，他们在和我并肩战斗。
I know this is going to be very exciting. However, he's like, we are protecting Tingen right now. They are all fighting alongside us. We do know that he consumed at least some, if not a lot, of these people that died in the line of their job, and he consumed part of them if they are the same pathway as him, which he's sleepless. Most of them are sleepless because the sleepless pathway is the main pathway of this organization, meaning that we will see if consuming them is beneficial. We know from what he told us last episode that whenever he consumed them, it was more or less detrimental to his absorption of the potion, which is understandable. He takes in a foreign body with more of the potion. He has to digest more. The question is there going to be a power boost in the end? Or does he now can summon these spirits to fight alongside him? We will see. I don't know what his plan is. The acid? This is also one of the healing core, or core heal. They put in a little bit and then spider web. Oh, it looks like it looked like she was turning back. Not ideal. Oh, is a sun charm coming out. Interesting. One of the two sun charms he has. Let's see what it does. I mean, it looks pretty cool. And made out of gold. Very expensive. Okay. Doing a lot of work. That looks like a lot of collateral damage. Fantastic music. Huh. What? It just incinerated this part. This is insanely strong. Okay. We already knew this would be strong, but the question was how strong. And it was able to defeat the woman and the Shite. Now, the Shite was not born. It probably was not fully powered up. Question though still, I had this question before. Is there like a rock, paper, scissors kind of deal between the deities, because we know this sham was made with the deity, the blazing sun deity, whatever, and they fought now the true creator. Is it like the sun one is strong against the true creator but is weak against the demoness, as example? Is there something along those lines, or just, hey, it was not born directly, it may have not been fully powered up, it may only have been a part of the true creator, so it didn't even have the full power. There's also questions. Part of the true creator was definitely sealed more or less in the child. Is the true creator like a being that exists? You take a part, you seal it in, it gets defeated in this case, most likely. We don't really know at this point, but assuming, because everything got incinerated. Is that part going back to the true creator? Is the true creator, as part of one of the deities, unkillable? At least for normal means, is the question. Is stuff just going back, or did we just defeat a part of it? Why did you say that? And why do we have this? You can't say that. You know, there are specific phrases in shows you cannot say, you know, like one day before retirement, before you go on a big adventure. You can't say this. Oh, he got hit. Okay. So he got slashed. So it seemed like he was using his precognition, whatever, to see a little bit into the future, to, you know, take every minuscule movement and try to evade. He's moving, but the slash comes in, grazes him. It seems like a graze. I don't know how deep it is, but okay, no. So this is the animation of Ayo. It pierces through the bone, and it hits his heart. Okay, so we did not defeat it. I was hoping the Sunshine would do a lot. It did not. There we go, the ashes? No. Up mid. Oh, what is he doing there? Oh, he's drinking a potion, and he seems to use his spirituality to maybe help heal? Where's this mid ability coming from? Oh, okay. There maybe the vessel? Okay. Oh. Hmm? Oh, one of the churches. One of the red gloves, I believe was their name, maybe? Not one of the red gloves. Huh. I believe it was, they were called red gloves. One second. Fantastic music. Okay. I assumed Isaac would appear. Totally. That was my assumption. Okay. Leonard got defeated as well. Old man. Whoa. Old man? old man. Gun is still there and stuff, and it does not seem like they are that close. Is the shadow his father or old man? Maybe his predecessor? Maybe someone who he grew up with, who taught him life and stuff, like a stepdad, a father figure, a grandpa, as example. Is that what he has in his shadow? Is that the being? Because the shadow is, you know, we don't really know what the shadow is really about. But we know it is smart. It seems to know a lot. It could potentially be like his father figure or something. Oh no. Second sun charm. I mean, that sounds so good. The music. Whenever we switch to the guy that seemingly comes from the church, is this opera kind of sound. Fantastic. I assumed we would see Azek, but it seems like we are going to see someone from the church. Now, we know the red gloves, I believe it was their name, the one that interrogated Klein, was rank 6, I believe. And they are pretty infamous, more or less, very strong. So is this one seemingly higher? The question is how high? Because they did done, I believe it was that this being, or I believe Leonard, one of the two, that this being could be like a rank 3 or so mythical creature. So I'm assuming we are going to see a rank 4 at least. There's the action music again. And as soon as we see the other guy, we are going to get the man singing again. Done. What are you doing? Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. Instantly made his eyes bleed. This is not even a strong shout, not even a loud shout. It just has seemingly so much spiritual power. The sound wave itself hurt. Oh no. It seems like we're going to be witness to the birth of a deity. And this is what the one guy in the library was saying, that the whole city is going to be the sacrificial lamb, and most likely to this deity. So it can grow in power, maybe? Okay. You have to learn to run away instead of praying. I mean, praying is fine, but seek shelter?
其实我有多讨厌别人成为非凡者，就有多崇拜职业者。
The true creator. I mean, that is a really nice visual. Because he's getting born. Again, how does it really work? How much power is in that child as it is being born? I'm assuming it is not going to be the full creator. Maybe if the child is getting born and sacrificing the whole city, then it allows the true creator to come down. Maybe. I don't believe the child is going to have the full power, because then it would be undefeatable. I mean, it's a freaking deity. Ooh, out of the eye. Ears. What is all this? Are those the ashes? How are you moving? By the way, this is major red flags. I mean, this is like hoisting a million red flags right now. In the face of peril, he's pushing himself. He has the answer. What the fuck? That is not how you light the pipe. Oh no. Did he did. What is this? Is this like something? He's not eating it. No. Putting it on the ashes. He's sacrificing his life for the ashes? I mean, this is a fantastic scene. Everything. We have the, you know, getting stronger in the face of peril, sacrificing himself to seemingly power charge the ashes, getting all the people that he most likely was close to consume them, all the comrades that were in this memorial hall helping, the nightmare being used to pin down the enemy and then using the sun charm to finally get rid of the enemy. However, even though he was smiling, he's rescuing the city. He ripped out his heart. He is probably dead. I mean, unless he has like multiple hearts, which I don't believe. But there were some scenes. By the way, again, fantastic usage of the music, the sounds. I love whenever we have in this scene, especially whenever we have this punch, we have the switch of the visuals, which works wonderful in harmony. I always like that whenever you put the visuals in sync with the music. Here we have all the friends. Yeah. Neil, we did see Neil again. Old comrade. Just wanted to see if there was something else. And then this part. What is that? Because first I thought this would be the blood vessel of thieving, whatever thieving blood vessel. This could be, if I had to assume, we defeated, I hope we defeated the woman with her child. This could be an umbilical cord. This could be where the Beyonder, quote unquote, abilities are going to be stored in. This is going to be an artifact, assuming. This whole fight did not go in a way I expected. I expected Ezek to come in to wreak havoc because the skull of his son, yada yada yada, special being. Did not believe we would see someone from the church coming that quick, because this was really quick. And I did not believe that our team was able to fight them. Additionally, we lost the sun charms, the strongest charms he had, and it is unlikely that he's going to be able to do these charms again for a long time. Flaring sun charms or whatever they were called. Maybe we can put the heart back? Just put it back?
队长，我们成功了。
Yeah, maybe.
成功了。
No, no, no.
克莱恩，我们拯救了廷根，拯救了廷根。
Is the box closed? It looks closed. The whole time I was thinking about Diley, because they seem to be very close, they shared a lot of secrets. Now she's more or less alone. She does have Klein. She's sharing a lot of secrets with Klein, however, still.
队长，队长，
you don't see this often. That he's still trying to get him back. In most cases, it's like, it's too late, we don't try anymore. Maybe sometimes you have people use healing magic in stories. So I do like that he's still trying. How about we put it back? Just, you know, try. What the... Okay. I'm assuming this is another part I had. We did see the church guy. Now, my assumption was at the beginning, oh, he's going to help out. What if he's just here to clean up? We know the Beyonder parts, they, you know, you can consume them or put them with the church. It may be that they are there to clean up. Maybe they need... I'm assuming they kill Klein to get rid of a witness. Could also be for the ashes. Ashes are important for some reason. Yeah, who is that? Someone stealing the ashes. It is the church guy. Wait. I was too lazy to translate all of that. However, we had the wanted poster for the guy that stole the quill, the artifact. Is it the same guy? Maybe they work together? Because the ashes are only here because of the quill, most likely. And as I said last episode, if we have the ashes at the end of this fight, after everything is resolved, then the storytelling is at least somewhat on our side, not against us. If we do not, then it seems like the ashes are more or less against us. It seems in both cases, though, that the one who has the quill, that he is trying to steer the story in some way that is beneficial to him. It's not exactly against Klein, however, all the stuff we see is more or less to further his own goal. Which is a little bit... Why did he, merge at the very beginning the two kidnappers? He merged them into monsters for some reason. Why? Some of the stories that he said or made a little bit weird. Maybe this is all to culminate into this part, to be able to steal the ashes of the saint. Why? That is one of the mysteries, I guess. Now, just to go back to the beginning of this video, where I said that I had like this short of of a lot of mysteries, and in the short, this fate was explained. Again, it just happens sometimes. Luckily, this is the only part that I got spoiled on, so we will see. Now, in all this case, because, oh, he died and oh, what a shock, he's the main character. Don't take me as an idiot. He's the main character. The main character has plot armor. How is he going to survive? I have zero clue. But he's most likely going to survive because he's the main character. And the story would probably not make that much sense if we get rid of him. Especially, this is another part that is more or less spoiled because everyone was always telling us praise the fool, all the people that knew the story, which is, I'm assuming he's still part of the story because he's a fool. So not for a second I was like, he's dead. Now we have the gray fog. Maybe that helps? We have some time? Stuff?
终于出来了，久违的自由。
What? Whoa. Okay. First we have the whole feather thingy. Long-awaited freedom. We see the red towers. This is like the
终于
antagonist.
出来了，久违的自由。
This is the one that Klein was dreaming about. And additionally, the Klein had he did his divination. If the being, fate, or whatever of done, if that is going to be dangerous for him. And the divination said yes. And it stays correct. It stays true. It was dangerous for him because, you know, he lost his heart. Quite literally. So now we see, I'm assuming the one that has a quill.
因斯赞格维尔，将我请出查理斯。
In Sangwil, the mortal who invited me to come out of the Chinese gate. Okay. In Sangwil, important name. Additionally, the one talking is not the guy, it's the quill. I'm assuming.
的凡人，他渴望得到秦根池的圣塞琳娜骨灰。恳求我的凡人。
The antagonist family's notebook arrives in Tingen according to...
总有
Again, I'm assuming this is the quill talking. So we have this guy in Sangwil, which I'm assuming was the one that had the wanted poster against him. And he wanted to get the ashes. Why? I don't know. But he more or less seems to have made a pact with the quill. Was like, hey, you help me get the ashes, I'm getting you out of here. Which means that at least some artifacts have their own will. Maybe all of them.
总有一些见不得光的小愿望，这不算什么。小愿望，这不算什么。
Okay. I believe I remember them. This is gonna be hard. This could be the one that was one of the kidnappers, but I'm too bad with faces and stuff. Additionally, it seems like that the story that was written by the quill, not by the wielder. Because he's like, oh, there's nothing. We now see all the little story bits. I'm assuming this is the kidnapping. I'm assuming. I don't know. Definitely don't know. It could have also been the one that put the three up to researching the notebook. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Is this her? Is this the mom? The mother? Oh, no. Okay.
不算什么。
This is the very beginning. So we have this guy.
总有一些见不得光的小愿望。
This guy who's giving this boy the, mission. They have the notebook. They give the notebook to 3 people to investigate. This is our pair, Klein and the woman and the man. We know the woman drowned. The man, I believe, just hit his head against some wall, and Klein took the easy way out.
一场黑占卜后，幸存者克莱恩·莫雷蒂在安提戈勒斯家族笔记驱使下，将他送到热尔比国家里。
Okay, so the quill was stolen beforehand, before the story began. Now, okay, here's the question.
一场
After a dark divination, the lucky survivor, Klein Moretti. Now, he did not survive. He died. He was dead. And that was not a wound you could just survive. Meaning, was the quill part of why our boy got summoned in this world? Or was there maybe some other being, some other deity or artifact or whatever, who interfered with the quill by summoning him?
后，幸存者克莱恩·
Because
莫
he
雷
did not
蒂在安
survive.
提戈勒斯家族笔记驱使下，将他送到热尔比国家里。
This is the whole
这是一
story.
个符合逻辑的巧合。之后，克莱恩开枪自杀。
Oh, okay, never mind. Okay. So he survived this ordeal. I don't know how. But then he brought the book to Bieber's house and then committed suicide.
后，克莱恩开枪自杀。
Then what?
令人不解的是，克莱恩并没有死，他成功的活下来，还加入了职业者。有趣，克莱恩居然能活着，还干掉了序列7的迷修会成员，因此很恼怒。
Why are you infuriated? It doesn't matter to you that he dies or not, right? Right? So, the quill was telling a story. Klein survived, which he did not. He got replaced. Now, the question that we have now is the quill is able to weave a story and people follow that story. The question is, is Klein, our Klein, now going to be outside the spectrum of people that the quill can, influence? That is a big question. Because Klein is not necessarily here anymore. He got replaced by a guy which name I totally remember and don't want to say. Definitely. Can he influence Klein? I don't believe he ever did. He influenced Dan, the kidnappers. He's weaved a story around Klein, but never really Klein himself, I believe. Interesting. Then the question is there maybe maybe there was a deity that used that story? Maybe someone is trying to fight against the quill. The quill seems very powerful to be able to do all this.
还好结果没有偏离预期。
And I also don't know what the quill is, because the guy brought the quill out to get the ashes of the saint. What is the upside for the quill? The quill has his own being. He probably wants to have something. He wants
跟使命是灵性，
greatly damaged because he looked at the true creator,
受到了巨大的伤害。
which we are not supposed to do.
早在真实造物者降临仪式上，这位神灵就看出了事情的巧合。不过，希望突破封锁的他，
Okay, interesting. So, the deity saw through all of the coincidences that the quill was weaving in the story, but desiring to break his seals. Not only one, multiple. Break his seals. I'm assuming one of the seals you have to break by sacrificing a lot of people, which was the whole point of this ritual right here. So multiple seals, so he got sealed by someone. It is so hard to remember. We got like a timeline of the epochs. We have the creator, like Epoch 1, I believe, or maybe 0, I don't know, who creates everything. Then we have like the god, the deities springing up. As example, the goddess of Evernight, and I believe Epoch 3 or so. The goddess of Evernight destroyed the antagonist family, and then there was like a big war between the deities. But I don't know if which one of these is like Epoch 3, Epoch 4. So seemingly the true creator got sealed. Why? I don't know. The group that is praying to the true creator are saying that this is the creator. This is the creator. He disappeared. Seemingly, we don't really know what happened. Maybe he used all his power to create everything. But this group is saying, hey, he never disappeared. He is now the true creator and he is dormant for some reason. So maybe all the gods that got birthed or something along those lines went against the creator and sealed him as the true creator. Maybe that is the story part. So they all ganged up on him, sealed him. Later on, they had a falling out and a war broke out between all of them. We know there was some kind of war. We don't really know what exactly. I do believe I remember like a god war, but my memory is fuzzy. The only thing I really remembered was that the goddess of Evernight destroyed the antagonist family. Why? I don't know. But that is supposedly what she did.
希望突破封锁的他没有拒绝。
Breaking his seals, he did not refuse. This is the next picture we get. His eye goes into the pendant, which I assume is just a fantastic transition, because it looks really awesome. And we see Klein in his gray, foggy area. Question is this maybe from the creator? Because we do have the transition. Could just be a transition. So not going to read too much into it, but putting it on the side. Maybe this is part of the creator.
真是让人难以置信啊！克莱恩莫雷地察觉到了因是赞格维尔暗中的影响，还帮邓恩掌握了扮演法。不，因是并不相信，他改变了原来的计划。自责的邓恩按照惯例辐射科尼遗留的非凡特性，扮演消化的进程被打断。他在关键时刻做出了错误的判断，将圣珊妮娜的骨灰带出了查理斯门。
Interesting. So also these are all puppets, wooden puppets, which reminds me a little bit of the Demoness. So the story got changed. Ink changed the story, or Inns, whatever his name is. And seemingly he is only able to change the story somewhat. So he brought on the situation where this guy looked into the mirror, died, and then had the decision to consume the body or the heart or give it over to the church. He consumed the part, which interrupted his digestion, which meant that he would not advance. This would mean that he may have been able to advance to the next stage, the next sequence, if he did not do it. Maybe. And this could have been detrimental to getting the ashes.
因需赞格威尔杀了克莱恩莫雷蒂这个总是让他计划出现问题的家伙。
Which is interesting. That would mean that he is pretty strong. He was like an archbishop at one point. What that means, I don't know.
以圣女的使臣后裔
The descendant of death's characteristics were decoration for the ritual.
推进布置仪式，扶持下圣塞琳娜的骨灰，成功从使臣途径的序列五看门人晋升为黑夜途径的序。
Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. You know, I'm on. Okay. The descendants of death's characteristics were decoration for the ritual. He consumed the ashes, and then
圣塞琳娜的骨灰
he advanced,
成
successfully advancing from a death pathway sequence 5 gatekeeper. Death pathway sequence 5 gatekeeper. Cool, another name. However, the next part.
功从使臣途径的序列五看门人晋升
To an Evernight pathway sequence for Night Watcher. What do you mean? Death pathway? Evernight pathway. Unless the pathway name changes if you get to the higher sequences, to the stronger sequences, that would mean that he changed his pathway, which we got told was impossible. You are not able to change your pathway. You are just not able to do this. How is he changing from a death pathway to an Evernight pathway? Now, caveat, could be a translation error. I'm assuming it's not. Again, maybe the pathway changes the name if you go to the higher echelons, the higher sequences, or he just changed his pathway, which, how are you changing that? That should not be possible.
黑夜途径的序列是守夜人
We got told you are unable to do.
半人半
Okay, sequence 4 is half man, half god. Now, this was my assumption. I did mistake earlier on sequence 3 as the unshadowed, but I checked again for the sun pathway. Whenever Klein looked at the sun, we got the information that the sequence 4 was called unshadowed, which for me is like seemingly like the half man, half deity path, because we know at the beginning it's like, oh, the higher you go, the closer to divinity you are. And path 4, the sequence 4 for the sun pathway was unshadowed, which means that it's like, oh, you are getting closer to the sun. You are not in the shadow anymore. You are like half illuminated, half deity, half man. So we got the confirmation, half human, half god is sequence 4.
半人
Which again, sequence 1 maybe is the deity of the pathway.
半神的强者
It would make sense. The quill writes itself. Okay, it writes the story itself. Interesting. So the quill has the power to change the story. And the quill writes the story itself with the outcome that Ink wanted, which is the ashes. He wanted the ashes to advance in his sequence, seemingly, even though the sequence name changed, which is little bit strange. It could also be that the sequence name changed because the sequence 4 is like close to the deity or divinity. So maybe the last 4 sequences changed their pathway names. I don't know. We will see. However, the beginning again told us we cannot change the pathways, which is not really a rule set in stone, for now at least. But from all we know, very strange that the pathway name changed. However, the quill can write the story for what Ink wants. However, he himself can use the quill to write a story how he wants it to unfold, which is interesting. Again, I don't know what the upside for the quill is, because it has like, it has his own, goals. So we will see what is going on now.
太阳依旧照耀大地，廷根市几乎所有人都没有察觉到，他们幸运地躲过了一场巨大的灾难。廷根的故事到此结束。
Interesting. Tingen's story ends now.
队长和
I don't know why I have Alfonso Leonard.
克莱恩，一封还没译码的电报，应该是之前盛堂发来的。
With no cipher. So you were part of the inside the Shannon's Gate. You're one of the people. You now have to be in there all the time because your core seal is gone.
总部已经知道真凶是谁了，红手套在追查。
Regulars.
申请加入红手套，需要什么？
Oh, okay. He did say old man. We still don't know about the shadow, what exactly that is. But he wants to apply. He needs to be like rank 6 or so at least. So he does need to advance. But okay. He wants to join the Red Gloves. Interesting. So all this seems like a setup for the next season.
打听到了，说是有个凶恶的罪犯潜入到了廷根，但幸好警察部门已经阻止了这场危机。
女神保佑，
潜入到了廷根，
Do you still have the
但
ticket?
幸好警察部门已经阻止了这场危机。
女神保佑。所以克莱恩今天早上才精神恍惚，
It is.
压力很大的样子。
克莱恩在警局是历史顾问，又不管抓罪犯。哦，难怪我们一向节俭的梅丽莎居然肯舍得买5苏勒的票，原来是想让克莱恩放松高兴啊！
This is not going to be nice at all. So to be specific, this was the scene I saw.
克莱恩，你会
Because at this point I was unable to identify what was going on.
绯红的满月升起，映着大地。生命的火焰短暂，身躯终归尘土。英雄的魂灵永恒，是不熄灭的灯火，是划破劫难的荆棘，是 是唱给罪恶的挽歌。愿不羁的风给罪，是英雄的魂灵永恒，是不熄灭的灯火，是划破劫难的荆棘，是唱给罪恶的挽歌。愿不羁的风引你前往女神的神国，愿长夜繁星闪烁，愿你回归最初的纯净。唯一的归宿是安稳，
唯一的归宿是爱，
唯一的归宿
是爱。
很抱歉，我没能及时赶到，但幕后之人，我应该知道是谁了。
Man, as soon as she put down her little turtle human thingy, this one hit not as hard as Neil, but they do the sad parts really, really well. You know, she was crying. She was, you know, vocal crying. But a lot of people, they just don't. They just stop. Tears flowing down. Muffling cries. It fits so well. Now, I do want to go back, not for all of this part. I do believe I can change into English? No, we cannot. Now, this is the part I saw on YouTube Shorts. Now, I only saw the English dub, which makes it worse. It was like, oh, she opened client, welcome home. And in this case, I don't know if it's only the English dub, he said client died. Which is, why would the English dub have that? Was this just, you know, put in by the, you know, the guy that made the short to spoil as much as possible? But again, we know Klein is not going to die, which is one of the parts why this does not hit as hard for me. Still, with all the story going on, it was like, oh, the story of Tingen is over. Leonard is going to join the Red Gloves. Dan is dead. Diley's somewhere else. It feels like we are going to go to another city, country, whatever. Continue the story there, which means that we are going to distance ourselves from the sister and the brother, which I feel like I like them. I would like them to be part of the story, because in one of the big parts in isekai or transmigration stories is that people want to go back. Now in isekai not as much, because most of the time you die before you come into this world. In transmigration, understandable, you want to go back. You have an old life, if you have a good life or had a good life, you want to go back. However, what happens if you get used to life in here? If you get closer to the sister, to the brother, you see them as family, you go through thick and thin for the next 5 to 10 years. If you then get presented the opportunity to go back, it's going to be a lot harder to make that decision. Because sure, in your old life, you have a family, loved ones, yada, yada, yada. But in this world, you also have that. So what do? Do you go back and then more or less leave everything in this new world behind? Or do you stay and leave everything in the old world behind? Because this is, especially in these stories, this is one of the big points that is, I feel like is not rarely, but it is not explored enough, in my opinion. It's most of the time it's at the end of the story, and then it's like a quick decision. But if you pull it a little bit forward, where it's like, hey, in the middle of the story, you can go back. It's maybe your only chance to go back. You could do a lot of that, but if we distance ourselves from the sister and the brother, we more or less lose this family bonds that we started to build. So I would like we still do, have them in the story, but with him dying, and he most likely cannot go back, because then it would be uncovered he's not dead. Punishes for Gria, or whatever the other one was. Is he just going to revive in the grave? Not where I would want to come back. The big question is, why is he going to come back? How's he going to live? Could be the grave walk, yada yada yada. What if Isaac? If Isaac is really dead, he potentially could control dead people. He could potentially revive you. What was the red eye? The big throne. Whoa. This is not his symbol. Whose symbol is that? Huh. We also saw the eye. More mystery. Oh. Are we coming across the Grey Fork? One thing I wanted to ask is, Lion is not dead. Again, he's the main character. It makes sense for him to still be alive. The question is the Quill going to be able to find out he is still alive? The only way that is not going to happen, in my opinion, is that Lion maybe changes his name. I mean, that is insane animation. I mean, what's the... They could have just... they could have just not just do this animation, but no, they were like... I have a weekend, you know, let me flex a little bit. I mean, clearly this takes far longer than a weekend, but... Throne rebuilding. The whole shrine, quote unquote, rebuilding. Now the question is really, we will find out, I guess. Is the Grey Fog the one that pulled him back because they need him to do whatever, similar to the Quill? Maybe it's like, hey, the Grey Fog is helping you, so you can fulfill whatever the Grey Fog wants you to fulfill. Sorry about that. There was another part I already forgot. I don't know why. Right. His death more or less reminds me of Mushoku Tensei. I don't want to really spoil too much. But there was a similar death. Similar idea. So it does remind me a little bit. Animation here naturally is far better because I don't know what Chinese animators eat. Because I don't know, these animations are pretty insane. They do use 3D animation seemingly a lot as well, but I mean, I'm assuming this is like 3D stuff. It just like it looks like just really good. That is the difference. If you have good 3D animation, people are going to be like, "Oh, this looks good," and not like, oh, we want to save money, so we do the bare minimum 3D animation that we have in Japanese. Good question.
或许只是一个从地狱爬出来想要复仇的恶灵吧。
Whoa. I was like, what are the ashes doing here? No. He's like reimagining the scene again. There's the story of him dying and, you know, being reborn. I do wonder if he's going to tell Daily. I'm assuming he's going to tell Azik. I feel like that is not a problem. But Daily is a little bit close to Evernight, maybe. But if she's gone from the story, I'm gonna be mad.
那些巧合就是封印5008的能力，写下的事情注定会实现。不，应该有一定的限制。隐私的目的是拿到圣塞琳娜的骨灰，那他针对的目标并不是我，而是队长。
Why is the captain? Oh, because he was able to control him somewhat.
因斯赞格维尔目前所在的城市，纳尔乌斯的位置，我便。
What? In Sangwill's current city, Lanova's current location, my desire to become strong. Is this like, normally whenever he summons these pieces of paper, he's doing divination? Are these like the answers, or is this like, hey, this is my, more or less my quest log? Find out where Ins is, find out where Lanovus is, get stronger. Is he doing 3 times the... Or is this like he did the divination for each of them, but animation-wise we just do them at the same time? Okay. There's a lot of shit going on. Gonna be on. On the left side, we have like airships, we have like a city, big city. I'm assuming wherever Miss Justice is, that's assumption. In the middle, we have the streets of a city. On the right side, we have water. So on the right side, we have like ships, we have like a harbor. In the middle, again, still a city. On the left side, we are in the air. We have like a bridge. These are all in the same city. We see the building in the middle, and on the right, it's the same building. And we most likely have the same building on the left. So all three of them converge in the same area. That is why we do this divination together. Smart. Good animation. Let's take a look again. Very nice. I like it. Because at the beginning I was like, oh, maybe at the same time you have to discern stuff. No. It's the same city. As soon, you know, I don't know why I assumed right a bridge. Because on the left side we saw some water, right side we saw water and the harbor. It's the same city. Backland. This is where Azig went to. Did Diley not go here as well? But Azig, as far as I remember, went here. Captain Forever, most trusted companion, the true guardian, gunsmith. I mean, willing to sacrifice yourself for, like, the city is insane. I would never be able to do this. Oh, this the yeah, the pipe, not cigar. I did like the touch at the end that his pipe ignited for him. This is what I meant. He's checking on his family. I mean, storytelling wise, it makes sense to remove people that are not important to the overarching story, where it leads to. But in the sense of transmigration, it would have made sense to have like an anchoring point, to have something that you don't want to give up in this world. Maybe we get something else later on. Maybe we come back to the family in a later point. But the sequence, I guess. What the? Is now full clown or fool? I also. Are they able to even pay for the new apartment house they have? Because Klein was doing most of the lifting.
This, 象征着快乐。 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 象征着
Launag. What a name. Was is this Klein? By the way, I don't know because I'm assuming she was clad in black. That people would assume she was mourning. This would have been a little bit insensitive. I guess this is songs. Songs are always dangerous for YouTube. Do we have an oh, what is all this? Okay. We're in the theater. There we see his old life, parents. Is this theater where they sit together? This is what could have been the ticket she was buying. Lone Kingdom Capital. We definitely know Isaac is here. But is Dahlia here as well? 17 Mink Street, Lettings agent. Huh? Huh? I feel like there's something else written there. Haven't we at the end did not check in? I believe that is an age. Age. Is that an O? It is an O. A little bit hard to see. A house. I'm at the bottom part. God damn it. Why are some of the house for it's not in RD. House for rent. This bottom part here means house for rent, which they did not translate for some reason.
先生，请问您是？
You change your name. Okay. Detective? The first letter. No idea. First letter, no idea. Okay, we have a couple. Okay. This is just. Okay, we have an H. H-E-R-L. This is no. This is not Sherlock, isn't it? Okay. It is Sherlock. Sherlock. Moriarty? Are you kidding me? It is Sherlock Moriarty. And I'm assuming private detective? It is. Sherlock Moriarty. Private detective. Really? Sherlock Moriarty. Wait. I'm not someone who watched Sherlock. Sherlock was the detective. He's easy. Moriarty wasn't he the bad guy, his like antagonist? Because it's Sherlock Holmes against something Moriarty. And we just combine them, Sherlock Moriarty. Huh. Interesting. So, this is the end of a lot of mysteries. Again, I would have preferred, some the sister and the brother to be in it. Mostly the sister, because the brother we don't see much. Also, the question is, are we going to meet Diley again? Seems like not. I mean, we are definitely going to meet Leonard at one point, because he's part of the... he's going to be part of the Red Gloves. And I'm assuming we are going to have an encounter with him under a different name. I do wonder what these meetings are going to look like. If we ever meet them again, I'm assuming we are going to, make contact with Azik, because there's not really much risk talking to him. Okay, so at the moment we are trying to follow Inns, we are trying to find Lavinus, and we are trying to be stronger, and all of these three things are in the city. We still have the two people we have on the round table, or three at this point. We need more people. We need to catch them all. A lot of stuff still are left unsolved. We solved like one little bit, but still a lot of mysteries being left. Is the Quill? The Quill is probably not going to write that Klein is alive, because Klein is more or less dead, and now we have Sherlock Moriarty, different name. So unless you specifically ask, it's not going to be known that he is Klein, or was Klein. I don't know if the clown was Klein. Could have been, maybe in a disguise. I don't know. Maybe just a coincidence. Additionally, why did Klein resurrect? Something about the gray fog. Someone is trying to keep him alive. Now, with the whole story, there's a lot of supernatural stuff, a lot of mysticism. The assumption is that some being, is helping Klein. Could be the Grey Fog, could be the previous owner of this divine realm. But someone is trying to keep him alive. Successfully, as we see. But there's still a lot. It seems like his sister and his brother both are out of the story. They probably never come back. They're gone. Isaac, we are probably going to get into contact with and, stay close to. Diley and Leonard, we are going to meet at some point later on. I don't know if they will remember him, if they're going to change. We did not see him as Sherlock Moriarty. We still have the whole son, our son boy, his whole thing. We are now in the city, which has a port and a lot of ships, so this could be where Mr. Hanged Man is around. We still need to upgrade our sequence, so we will see. We now have an idea what this one guy needed. We don't know why his sequence name changed. Is that just because he is in a stronger sequence in that pathway? Or if he was able to change the pathway, which is something you supposedly cannot do. There's still a lot of mysteries left unanswered, understandably. Overall, I would say this show, fantastic animation. I mean, it is just like, it is 11 out of 10 animation. It is insane. It is on top of every other animation that I have seen at this point. Music, fantastic. Full score there. Awesome music, awesome sounds, awesome soundtrack. Ending song is fantastic. world is insanely well done. A lot of stuff. We have not even scratched the surface of the world building that is in here. A lot of stuff going on. The power progression is awesome. We don't rush into high level power. We are slowly building up. We see glimpses of higher power. We have this whole world of deities. The world is just insanely well done. The power progression and power system, really, really well done. Just really good. Easy to understand if you get into it. There are no under levels or whatever. It's like, this is a pathway. You have 10 sequences, 10 to 1, 1 being the best. Go have fun. The progression system is really interesting. The characters are first class. Every character is interesting. Everyone has their own little design. The art design is fantastic. Animation, again, we already touched on that. First class. I like Daily. I find her design is really appealing to me. So plus points there, even though it shouldn't matter, but you know. The fight scenes were really good. Very interesting powers that we got to see, like short range teleports with Leonard, the fast movement. We have like binding techniques. It seems also that a lot of the fighting is more or less pinning down enemies, so you can use some strong abilities that you can't really use on a fast target, like the death glare or eye or vision of Daily. You needed to pin down the enemy. We got to know a lot about the different parts, the artifacts, how they get created. There seems to be a lot of secrets that the church doesn't want people to know for some reason. Why, we don't know, but how you digest the potions, the acting method is all under control by the church. That whenever someone Beyonder dies, that a part of their ability or their ability goes into a part of their body, and that goes over to the church, or you can consume it. That is somehow kept under wrap. So the artifacts are, if you cannot control the artifact, you seal it into the vault, and if you can, you consume it? Question mark. There's a lot of stuff going on. Mysteries. Without so many mysteries, I still wish to know more about Mr. Hangman, Miss Justice. This is not. It's always the divide. It's not an anime because anime is Japanese. It's the Donghua. I don't care. For me, this is a big problem. I don't know what an anime, I'm generalizing now, animated series could do to be better than Lord of Mysteries. We got a bunch of genres. We got action, we got mystery, we got a little bit of horror, we got a little bit of drama. We got all these different genres in the show, all well done. The only part that we would miss if we go by genres is there's no romance, which is like, for me, it's totally fine. You don't need to cram romance into everything. And I really enjoyed the mystery aspect. We have this whole alphabet, which means that I can translate stuff that the show or the subtitles decided to not translate because they are lazy, which means that I can find out some extra information, which is always nice. Again, I don't know what you can do better. It has insane animation, it has good soundtrack, it has a good story, it has good characters, it has a good world, it has good mysteries, a good power progression, good power system. it does the genre really well. You have, you have somewhat of a risk of losing people, unless our main character, because he's the main character. We have some underlying mysteries. Why is Klein here? Why did he get resurrected? How is he fitting into the story? Who is behind Klein helping him? There's a lot of stuff going on. For me personally, this is probably, even though it's not an anime, this is most likely anime of the year. I don't see any show being able to just be better. One big part also, this show doesn't hold your hand. There are no flashbacks to scenes you already saw. The only flashbacks are to scenes you did not see, to flesh them maybe out a little bit. And hey, you forgot something? Tough luck. We are just going to continue the story. If you remember, cool. If not, I guess you go back. Which is very nice. We have longer than average episodes, at least for anime standards, even though this is Donghua. So yeah, I don't know. Takopi came out this year, Original Sin, which is an insanely well done anime. However, I feel like Lord of Mysteries is just better in most ways. And I don't see anyone beating this Donghua this year.